Welcome to this session of Inspirational Systemic Insights. As I said previously, my heart lies with creating a greater understanding for the healing within global consciousness and bringing more wholeness into the system of our global consciousness here on planet Earth. I know I'm only one, but it starts with each and every one of us. And that is where I want us to take this journey together. So when I say here on planet Earth, many of us, you and me, including others, are on a spiritual path of one way or another. And your spiritual path is within where you feel yourself drawn to. Because when we want to connect with the universe, God, or what I say, that is beyond us, we are on a spiritual path because we are all spiritual beings. Well, at least in my understanding. And if you have a different understanding, that's okay. That's your understanding. In my understanding, we are all souls incarnated into this human body. And in this human body, we have come here on planet Earth for whatever reason we have chosen to come here. And when I look at what is our purpose here on planet Earth, we have different understandings of what our purpose is. You may have your understanding, I may have my understanding. But at the end of the day, we are all seeking for truth, for the greater truth, the truth beyond. And that is in this search that I am inviting you to come and follow this journey with us. The key as humans is, oh my word, why have we chosen this life here on planet Earth? What is the purpose? There is so much pain. There are so many imbalances within ourselves, around ourselves. And what do we make of all of this? What I do know is that we are all part of a greater system. What does that mean? I have an experience or impression, I may be right, I may be wrong, that many of us are looking for, I'm an individual on this planet Earth. But each of us is linked to someone else, somewhere else. From the basis of us becoming a human, you have taken life here on Earth through your parents. Your mother and your father were extremely involved in your space here on Earth, whether they were mentally and emotionally involved or spiritually involved. They were definitely physically involved. Let's not kid ourselves on that. So, and they come from a generation. They have a father and a mother, and those in turn had a father and a mother. So we are all part of a generational family system. And every family system is systemic. There is pain, there is glory in each family system. So this video is not going to explain to you about the generational systems. That is, I'm going to leave that for another day. What I want to explain today is, what is it that we do with the challenges that we have as humans here on Earth? And today I want to discuss the importance of recognizing and breaking generational patterns that hinder our personal and professional growth. And why is that important? So yes, I'm not going to explain the whole generational system, I'm going to take it from an understanding that you know that you have parents, you know that you have a line of generations behind your father, and you have a line of generations behind your mother. But today I want to discuss the importance of recognizing and breaking generational patterns. Why would that be important? The importance of what happens if we don't, I'm going to take that and bring that into another video in the future. So you can stay tuned for that in another video. Otherwise, this video gets too long, it gets too complicated, and I want to break the concepts into simple ideas, into tiny inputs. Okay? So, what do you understand about patterns, generational patterns? Before I started Family Constellations work, I had no idea that whatever I'm experiencing in the here and now is not just an experience I have in the here and now. I learned that there were patterns even before I was born that created the patterns that I am experiencing now. And for me, that was very big to understand. How can I experience in the here and now from a pattern in the generational system? So when I started doing this work and I saw how these patterns actually are present, I started understanding that the traumas in my family history are linked into my DNA. Hell's bells, no. But what it also made me understand is when we do healing at the core of where this generational pattern started. And we can find a core 4 generations up to 7 generations, because the patterns repeat. The healing that we do there has a great effect on our lives. So what I'm trying to say is we are going to look at why is it important to do the healing on these core structures or the core points of where our limitations as humans started, or the limitations I have in my life, the limitations you may have in your life. The behaviors that I had a very interesting experience. So I happened to be an illegitimate child, and I met my birth father in his late 80s, and we had a family gathering, and people started making comments. And one of the most common comment was, Sonia, you are identical to your father in the way you think, in the way you walk, in the way you look. Our belief systems in me and my siblings are very similar. I did not grow up in that family. How is that possible? So that I'm giving you this just as a confirmation of in my own life. So behaviors, beliefs, and emotional responses are passed down from one generation to the next. And I hear, especially my generation, every generation does the same. I'm going to do it different to my parents. My parents, they got it all wrong. I'm going to do it different. And that's exactly where you set up the pattern. You're trying to do it different creates exactly the same patterns. I watch especially my one daughter, and I'm just looking at it and I'm thinking, how did you end up in the same pattern? You chose different. You have a different life. You have a different family. How do you end up in the same pattern? I rest my case. So when we, as children, say, I'm going to do it different to my parents, why would we want to say that? Because we have a judgment of our parents. We have a judgment of everything they did wrong according to the current conscious belief systems that we live in now. And our children are going to do the same to us, because when they are ready to be parents, the consciousness has shifted and they're going to do that judgment from the same conscious belief system that they're in. And yet the patterns continue. I don't know why that is. Well, I do know, but I'll get into that in a little while. So, yes, I have said I come from a trauma background, and I found family constellations extremely helpful in breaking those patterns, in breaking those belief systems, and in breaking those behaviors. It is not by judging them that we break them. It is not by doing it differently that we break them. We break them by healing them. And that is, for me, the key word, is healing from past generational patterns so that we can create a new consciousness. And yes, as the new consciousness evolves, there will be new steps to be taken, more healing to be done. We are going to start in the family system simply because that is the first system that we experience here on planet Earth. So this work has developed into what we call systemic constellations, which involve all other parts of your life. But let me keep it simple for now. In this work, we recognize that when we break these patterns and when we break these cycles, we foster new growth. And I'm talking about emotional growth, mental growth, spiritual growth. And I want to call that healing and transformation. So why is it important to recognize these patterns that we are aware of? Why is it important that we understand how past experiences and past traumas have shaped our current behaviors and attitudes? When we gain this awareness of where our traumas originated, we see the invisible threads like threads that are connected with those of our ancestors. And I'm going to give you some case studies as we go along to explain and maybe highlight the importance of the interconnectedness that we are all part of. I'm going to spend a lot of time talking about the healing and the growth that happens when we become aware and we understand these patterns. First, we have to see these patterns. And when we see these patterns, here is just a little bit of a step back. We cannot heal what we can't reveal. A lot of our patterns are stuck in the unknowingness or unknowingness of our system. We are not always aware of the secrets that happened in the family. Every secret that is hidden creates its own pattern of behavior. So we cannot heal what cannot be revealed. So when we try and push down experiences, traumas, secrets, they come up and bubble up in one way or another. And that is a reality that I never knew before I started this work. So by revealing traumas, by revealing secrets, we gain psychological freedom. And that's big. Because when we can heal from the past, and now I'm going to say from the past, it helps us to grow and thrive, both personally and professionally. So in our intrinsic self, although we wear different hats at work and a different hat at home, who we are intrinsically as the human is the same. We are one. So we may wear different hats, but at the end of the day, it's still my thoughts, it's still my feelings, it's still my pattern, it's still my body. So if we allow us to have that understanding, then it makes sense that patterns that play out at home, especially in our childhood, play out at work. So some of you know that I am a coach, and my focus is on helping professionals who struggle with work-life alignment, because so much is expected of us at work, so much is expected of us at home, and how can we marry these two in a good way? It then makes sense that when we break generational patterns and cycles, it empowers us to create a new narrative. So in the coaching as well as the psychotherapy world, we call it reframing. And the reframing does not happen because we want to tell the story differently. The reframing happens in your body. So when you're ready and you've learned a little bit more, I will be hosting online workshops. And in order for you to become part of that, you may want to become a member of the tribe that is currently just starting. It is too much to try and explain it in a short video. And I'm just going to continue explaining to you what happens, but the experience itself happens through the embodiment of the new information. So it's not just head information. Your body gains new information. And the trauma that once was, your body knows, yes, it happened, but your body doesn't have the same reaction to it. And therefore, when there's not that tension around it anymore, we can see it differently. And when we heal it in a space that is safe, it no longer controls us. Our behavior patterns change from being in a tense state to being in an open and more free state. And we then can also create new beliefs that are not just created in the headspace that are actually embodied. So you may say, Sonia, what does this have to do with me? Each of us, as part of the system, is either called to or not called to explore how does the healing that happens within me, and please, there are many other spaces to heal. This is not the only space where you can heal. It is just my preferred work that I do. But each of us that heals, and when we become a more positive person within, we vibrate more positively throughout. And that is where I am looking at how can we create more positive vibrations within ourselves, around ourselves, which then positively impacts everybody around us. So with that, I want to share a case study of Maria. Maria struggled with self-worth. I wonder who of you struggles with self-worth? I know I did. And if you feel I am not enough, I don't belong, then just own it and say, yeah, I struggle with self-worth. So this is Maria's story. She grew up in a family where self-sacrifice was valued above all else. Oh my word. I can so identify with this. Can you? Her grandmother and mother had put their needs last. I wonder. Somehow this makes sense in my story. Can you see that somebody in your family might have done that? If not you, prioritizing the family and the expense of their dreams and well-being to the family. Maria unconsciously adopted this pattern and often feeling unworthy of pursuing her own ambitions. I'm not good enough. I don't think I can do this. She felt like whatever she did was going to be a failure. Nobody would approve what she did. And then she came and did systemic constellations. And through that, Maria became aware of this generational pattern. She realized that by honoring her own needs and aspirations, she was not betraying her family. And this is the key. We don't want to step out of this pattern because stepping out of the pattern feels like a betrayal to the family. Our loyalty to the family system is so huge, it is beyond description. And so it should. But not to patterns that break us down. So, when Maria had this awareness that she was not betraying her family, that she could step forward with her in her own life, have her own ambitions, and that the family in the system that she was in would actually applaud her. But she said, no, 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 I can't do this. I can't leave this system. No, 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 I can't do it. And this step, to step away out of this, what is in our DNA, what is in our embody, is very, very difficult. And this is where this work goes beyond psychotherapy, it goes beyond coaching, which is why I love it. So through this work, her children were inspired to pursue their own passions without guilt. And that is the key. The guilt was dropped. I can do my own way. So Maria became an entrepreneur, and her journey just grew more and more into honoring herself within the family system. So if you want something and experience that, let me know in the comments below and let's have a chat about it. But now what is going forward? The legacy of You Are Not Good Enough started 7 generations before and even before that. It's often very cultural. Now look at the legacy she is bringing forward into her children, who are going to bring this legacy of self-worth and empowerment forward. And remember, I started speaking about global consciousness. So how does Maria's story impact global consciousness? Maria's story of overcoming neglect and prioritizing her well-being demonstrates the power of self-empowerment as more individuals like Maria break free from generational self-sacrifice when they learn to value themselves, contributing to the global culture of self-worth and respect. But it is not done from a egoic, I am better than you, I am different to you, I am my own person, I am an individual. It is within the family system that healing happens. So it's a supportive structure that is brought into this global consciousness. Whatever is learned by one person taking on, healing and growing, and becoming aware of their space here on planet Earth, it has a ripple effect right through not just your own family, but also into the global consciousness. And the question is, why? So I will talk more about wholeness, because the global consciousness, we are actually part of a system of wholeness. We can even call it that we are part of a system of love. And here I'm not talking about the love that we have as humans have with each other. I am talking about a love system, a system of wholeness that is beyond the God love, the universal love. And I want us to talk about the essential part of the whole. Maria's transformation from self-neglect to self-worth shows how healing on one part of the system, so within herself, can enhance the integrity of the whole family. So within this journey, within herself, when Maria grew, individuals around her started experiencing greater well-being. And that has to do with the law of vibration. When our vibration feels more open, people around us start also vibrating with more openness, which then becomes part of the collective wholeness. We are all part of that whole. None of us is separate. I'll go more into this and I'll explain this more as we go along. You will gain more and more understanding with me sharing more and more. So stay tuned. Click the like or just click the subscribe, and so that you can be part of learning more and more and understanding more and more of how the system of wholeness works. Family constellations is a powerful process that is absolutely transformative. And by recognizing each part of ourselves as a part of a global whole, we can work better and better as a global whole. So I just want to summarize. I want to bring together that we are going to break generational cycles in a powerful transformative process by recognizing and addressing patterns and cycles that we can overcome in our personal and professional life. The challenges that were passed down from generation to generation, we can now heal. The story of Maria demonstrates that with awareness, healing, and conscious effort, it is possible to create a new legacy of growth, empowerment, and positive change. When we're talking about growth, we're talking about mental, emotional, and spiritual growth. We're talking about empowerment. How we show up in the world changes. And the positive changes each step we take towards breaking these cycles not only transforms our lives, but it also transforms the lives for those around us who come into our vibrational energy. So if you like this, click the like, click the subscribe, and please follow me to the next session. I'm going to continue with bringing more and more awareness into the global consciousness. And the awakening of global consciousness is up to each of us. It's not for somebody else out there. It's not that the global consciousness changes, that changes me. I have to be an integral part of making that change. So I hope that you will come back, visit me on the next video. I look forward to sharing this journey with you. And yes, I am most probably going to create a membership a circle where we as a tribe can experience these profound changes. So I invite you to enjoy and look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.